Hi. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us. We would like to start our presentation with, of course, the question of what does quality of life mean for us? We've been scanning a lot of pictures and discussions, but we actually ended up that we didn't really find a single moment, but we rather think that the current situation that we are in, the life we're living, is actually a little bit like the spaceship that you can see, that we feel like we can fly to the moon and back or do whatever we would like to do. We have a lot of rich opportunities and a lot of resources, and that's actually what quality of life means for us. But now let's start with the presentation. Mauro, what's the purpose?
Yeah, so what's the purpose? Usually that's the question that comes around every time you want to preach idea, everyone to present a new project. And purpose is used as a kind of parameter to judge effort, priorities, or engagement in a certain thing. But it's important to remember that purpose has something to do with impact that you cause. It may not be directly connected, because purpose is like the direction that you're going, but impact is something that you cannot foresee.
But when we look at enterprise IT, what might be actually quite clear is there is a certain purpose. The purpose that we see for enterprise IT is actually that we want to increase the productivity or the efficiency of software. We're designing for a group of people, and we want to streamline workflows and processes and create a certain revenue for businesses. And we particularly work for the people in the back office, so not for the consumers, but the people behind the scene in the gray offices that you don't see. But when we think about this and look at the impact, we actually there might be a clear impact on the employees that are working at their desks or using our software. But we actually think, and we looked a little bit more detail into this in our presentation, that there is a hidden impact or a hidden impact in the beyond the actually business purpose, which we would like to talk about in our presentation. My name is Marion and Fröhlich.
I'm Mauro Rego, and we just put up the pictures here that you know who's who.
And we have one thing in common: we both work for SAP, which is maybe some of you know it. I don't know how many have used it. Has anyone used SAP software here in the room?
How many of you that have used SAP software? Okay, you got the face, Marion. So, if you had a beer yesterday, you probably have 72% of chance who have kind of indirectly used SAP software. If you don't drink, if you have a chocolate yesterday, or I don't know, you have like 79% of chance to have used SAP software indirectly. And our customers as well, they produce about 65% of all the coffee and tea that you drink every day. We are present in 75% of the transactions, of economical transactions all over the world, and it's kind of a huge number that I cannot grasp myself. But it's like we are behind the scenes, we're in the back office of most of the services and products that you guys are consuming in daily life.
We both work in a team that was founded last year. It's called the Design and Co-Innovation Center, and our mission is to humanize software through design. So what we do is actually we try to increase the quality of life through the perspective of a human, or with the focus of a human. And if we look at this a little bit more detailed, we think actually that beyond, as I said, the business goal or the impact that we have on the processes that maybe increase your quality of life when drinking beer or eating chocolate, we actually see a lot more than that. If we look at it a little bit more systematically, we noticed that there is a lot more that we can do in terms of quality of life. And we would like to share our model or our system and different perspectives on this a little bit more deeper.
So impact for us is like a drop in a bucket of water. It could be also an earthquake, but an earthquake is not really a positive message, so we keep with the drop in the bucket of water. So it works in layers. So you have your purpose in the center, and then the drop hits the water. It generates waves that are going to hit other actors that you cannot foresee yet. So although your purpose is on the center, the generated waves that kind of hit people and things around it. Things like the business. So you cause an impact directly in business. You cause impact on the team. You cause impact on the user, on the partners, and of course, in the world.
And the starting point for different projects can be, we can put anything in the center. So the most obvious one is actually the user-centered perspective for us, or the customer-centered perspective. So we start with the human, his needs, what he wants, we do our insights and research, and that's where we start a project. But what you can also do is you go beyond this, and if you want to have a larger impact than on the user or the customer, you would actually look at it a little bit more from a society or a social perspective. Or if you work in an enterprise IT world, you probably start often with the business objectives or the goal of actually increasing productivity, streamlining processes, etc. So that's the business-centered, where you actually put that in the center, and then we rearrange the different layers or dimensions in the specific order of how we create impact.
So this model is like easily arguable. It's not actually a model. Like we haven't studied and then generated like a large research that you could put it out and prove it. It's more a reflection out of our experience and our daily reflection of daily job, actually. So we'd like to share with you now 2 stories. That one is business-centered, started as a business-centered proposal project, and one that started as a social-centered project.
So the first story, it goes a little bit into the health area. Well, basically what will happen is that in 2035, 22 million people will have cancer. And it's also estimated that 13 million people will actually die on cancer. So it's something that will definitely have an impact on quality of life of some people, and maybe even on me or us here being in the room.
We are not wishing for that.
Of course not. But what if we could take our knowledge as an enterprise company and cross our knowledge with the healthcare industry to come up not with new business intelligence software, but to actually develop a real-time analytics solution for the cancer research area. And that's what we've been doing in this project. We actually partnered up with the National Center for Tumor Diseases in Germany. And we had a co-innovation project or partnership for almost over 1.5 years now. And we built a new product that helps oncologists and researchers to basically do real-time research, which means they can now combine different systems into a single user interface, and they can actually do requests in real time, so they don't have to take the patient files, like manual files, to their home and look to them one by one, but they actually can insert filter requests and look at the graphs and explore opportunities for better treatment options for us much faster and much easier. So when we look at this project a little bit more detail, what kind of quality of life did it actually, or what kind of value did it bring to the people who were involved? We would start with us or our partner, but basically we built a new software, a new analytics software that can be sold to different customers and can be used by different institutes and hospitals. The other perspective from our partner, we help them to have a tool that helps them to streamline their workflows, so people get more efficient, they can work better with each other, so they can save money as well when they use our tools. The cool thing for the actually doctors and researchers, they can do stuff they couldn't do before. So now they actually can take all these data and, for example, look at if somebody has cancer. Cancer is usually very individual. So you have to actually explore this specific type with other profiles to come up with an idea of what you could potentially do for that single person. And that's what they can do now with our tool. They can come up with more meaningful data easily, and also for the patient, more obvious treatment plans. And but if you look at it from a perspective of a designer or the project team, it was actually, it started off as something that we wanted to do. You were doing something that is, doing purpose or doing something good. But it was also an ambition in terms of quality that I was actually asking the team, so what if we wanted to win a design award? And I got the feedback like, oh, we never think about that as SAP. I haven't heard anyone asking that. And that was 1 year ago, but the cool thing is, as terms of quality, we actually won a design award with this project this year. So that's actually also like my takeaway or a part of being in the project team that increased our quality. The last one is the most obvious one, that we actually do something good for the people. But I think beyond that, it's also a very scientific project. So it was also recognized by the White House in the States that it actually adds value to the cancer research in general. So that is a project that shows we started out with a business idea, but we crossed it with a different industry, and then we ended up doing social good.
Another story is about enabling education without borders. So a group of developers at SAP, they, as a side project, they start to design and to develop a platform to support travelers to find schools all over the world that they could teach. So imagine, for example, that you come to Stockholm, and then you search there, is there any school that would be willing to host you to teach something that you are willing to share, like your cultural background or your competence in design. So it doesn't matter, like everything can be shared. And this platform is online right now, so it's teachsurf.org. You can create a profile and get yourself on board and find school all over the world to kind of like share and change your experience as a traveler. So instead of taking pictures, taking things, taking souvenirs, you start giving things. So that's the main proposal of this platform. And it's all started by the initiative of developers, of employees, but it then got a certain track that got attention of the management level, and because they invest in design, like they bring the design team inside, we reframe it, and we start creating products that are related to this, using this technology. So at the end of the day, we started with a project that was like social-centered, sort to say, so they had a purpose or a cause that was not related to the business, will never generate revenue. If you sign in, your data is not sold or anything, like there is like the level of privacy is super high. So how can that generate revenue? There was a question. So for us, it started as a platform for knowledge sharing across borders. And for the team that was engaged, I'm still working this project. And it's like, for me, it's just an issue of like purpose. You know, it's a super cool idea. I really like the idea of like traveling and support people to travel and then sharing this knowledge all over the world. And so it's kind of motivate me to also impact in my life. For the user, it's kind of clear, like chance to experience the world differently. And for the partners, having all these talents come abroad, like from abroad, and like enhance the skills of their own community. And that's the cool part. When it turned out to business, the business just acquired an ecosystem of products. So we have a platform that's for free, that will never generate revenue, but there is a high adoption of users, so they can generate user insights that can be applied in the business product. And the business product have all the investment from the customers, so they can generate features that can be applied in the free one. So it's an ecosystem that nurture each other and kind of like flourish without we have to monetize the teachsurf.
If you try to come up with or look at the different perspective of quality of life, you would expect that everybody wants a better quality. But one thing we also learned throughout our projects that there are all these different perspectives on it, but actually you have to be aware of the perceived quality and that some people are resistant to change. So what we noticed, for example, in one user research that people were like saying in the NCT project for the Cancer Institute, they were saying, I don't want this new tool. It's fine what I have, just fix a few things. I don't need anything that's better than that. I'm just working here. And it was quite a challenge to actually motivate people and take the hand and go this extra step. So then they later on actually accept this quality of life, and they're really happy and relieved to have it.
Another challenge is like the first perception regarding when you start with a social center project or business center project. The social center project is taken as naive. It's never going to generate revenue, therefore you won't invest nothing on that. And the business project is always taken as evil, you know, like you are trying just to get money and profit. And as a designer or manager, you have to be skilled and like clever to reframe and understand all the impact that you can generate over all the stakeholders. So it's not an easy path, but it's possible.
In one of our last challenges we would like to share is basically you need to also fight for long-term involvement. So if you do things just on a short term, you won't have as much impact, and even though you don't foresee the quality of life or the impact that you can actually have, if you stick to something and believe in something, you can actually make that happen, which is shown by the teachsurfing project, which started off with an idea from our colleague and now becomes a bigger project that is supported by our company.
So in resume, like what we learned through this like last year experience basically was that you actually can manage the impact of the enterprise IT. So it's not given. you can make it happen differently.
And what for us worked well is look at the 5 different dimensions because we're a B2B company. So we have the company, the partner or customer, we have the users, our project team, and we use the world as a dimension. But maybe you need to add or remove dimensions for yourselves. And just understand that impact at the first sight is not visible, so you have to design it, you have to frame it and reframe it. That's our small view on, from a perspective on the enterprise IT. For us, it was actually really great to see that we're doing so good, which I wasn't expecting when we got the topic. It was a little bit like, oh, what do we do with it? But yeah, we hope we could share with you a few insights. And if you have questions, come by, talk to us, grab us in the coffee break. Thank you.